What up, everybody? So originally I was going to come up with a funny little video. It's kind of what I'm going for now. Just come up with a clever, try to be clever with some kind of a joke at the beginning of all my videos. It may not necessarily work out that way every single video, but anytime that I think I could come up with anything that I think will be entertaining, I'll come up with it, whether it be, a fake commercial, like I've been doing lately, or just some kind of a funny opener, then that's what I'm gonna do. But, I'm not doing that with this video for a couple reasons. One, I really just couldn't come up with something. But also, because on one of my recent videos, I actually offended somebody. And this is just a public service announcement. I'm not calling out no names on this or nothing like that, because it really wasn't all that serious. But I do want you guys to understand something about these jokes. And that is that that's exactly what they are. They're jokes. They're not really meant to push an agenda. They're not really meant to offend anybody. They're just jokes. You're supposed to just listen to, the fake commercial or whatever I come up with, and it's just supposed to be for a laugh. Whether it be a cheap laugh or something that's profound. I mean, it could vary. And whether or not you find it funny, I mean, that may differ from joke to joke. But I mean, it is what it is. You either think it's funny or you don't. But none of it's meant to be motivated by any kind of an agenda. And that includes race. That includes just being a fan of a specific fighter or anything like that. If I think I could come up with something that will be funny, I'm going to do it. Now, Wayne Gretzky, who was a hockey player, I've never really been into hockey, but I do know that he has a famous quote, and that is, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So I'm taking all shots. All right. And, if you're a fan of a specific fighter and you don't have tough skin, sorry, but tough shit. That's just the way that my videos are going to go. All right. I will poke fun at any fighter. And that's going to include my own favorite fighters. If I feel like I want to make a joke about them, like for instance, Manny Pacquiao, he's one of my favorite fighters. But let's say I want to do something with the fact that he got knocked out by Juan Manuel Marquez. There's a picture. It's old because that knockout happened a while ago. But there's a picture of NyQuil, and they photoshopped Manny Pacquiao when he was knocked out by Marquez onto the box of NyQuil. I'm a Pacquiao fan, and I think that was funny. It was, we know today that Pacquiao ended up being all right after that knockout. He didn't die. He didn't suffer any serious injury. I think that joke is not distasteful. So, I mean, if you find something that I say in a joke to be offensive, just know that that's not the intent of the jokes. And I'm not going to be politically correct, all right? But you really need to listen to the content of the video itself, because on this video where I apparently offended somebody, they paid attention to the first 39 seconds of the video where I was joking around, but it seems like they completely ignored the other 13 plus minutes of what I was actually saying. which was complete opposite of what they thought of me, just because they focused solely on the first 39 seconds of that video. So, that being said, a wise man once said,
well, you laugh, you know that shit is a joke, alright? If you can take a dick, you can take a joke, alright?
so calm down, faggots. What up, everybody who talks boxing, comments about boxing, and makes boxing videos? So this is somewhat of a response video to blood boxing. I was watching his videos about David Lemieux. He did one where he was saying that David Lemieux is a weight bully. And I also saw his follow-up video where he was talking about people commenting on his page saying, well, since he called out David Lemieux, then he should call out Terrence Crawford. When it comes to this whole situation, Terrence Crawford is not the same thing as with David Lemieux. Now, I don't consider David Lemieux to be a weight bully either, but I always like to try to put myself in somebody else's shoes. And blood boxing is somebody that I do respect, so I don't have a problem with trying to empathize with his stances. So, I mean, he makes some good points. I mean, if David Lemieux didn't make the weigh-in the day of the fight, and he believes that he was around 185 pounds or more on fight night, you know, that's perfectly fine. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. I disagree with it, but that's not unreasonable either. That's just not the way that I see it. The way I see it is that David Lemieux, you know, and Curtis Stevens, you know, they both made weight. Curtis Stevens, to be honest, is a small middleweight. He's not a big middleweight. He's not an average middleweight. He's a small middleweight. He's smaller than most men at 160 pounds. So you got to give Curtis Stevens some credit for competing with guys that are bigger than him. I mean, that's just the way that it is, you know. And then you got Triple G in that division who is getting rid of everybody. I mean, everybody he fights, he knocks them out. I mean, to the point where he's being called the God of War. So, I don't really think this is really a, what's the word? I don't think it's really putting, in my opinion, as like I said, this is just my opinion. I don't think it's really about bringing David Lemieux down. I just think Curtis Stevens should be elevated. I think, you know, that him competing with bigger men consistently, I mean, I think that's something to be commended because, I mean, in a sense, it just really depends on how you look at the word weight bully. And, whereas a lot of guys are fighting in divisions that they're really too big for, Curtis Stevens is doing the opposite. He's fighting in a division that he could probably avoid and fight at 154. Now, granted, 154 has more competition in a sense. They just don't fight each other. But, you know, it just depends on how you want to look at it. But he's fighting men that are bigger than him. That's the way that I see it. I don't see it as David Lemieux is fighting smaller guys. I mean, in this case, he did fight a smaller guy. But you got to remember, David Lemieux is also the same David Lemieux who, after winning the IBF title, his first defense was against Triple G. So I don't really take David Lemieux to be a weight bully. You know, he went and fought the monster at the division. But it's just a difference in opinion. As far as people trying to tell Blood Boxing what to do on his channel, well, Blood Boxing is absolutely right. He is going to talk about what he wants to talk about. He doesn't have to pacify nobody. And that really goes for anybody who makes videos on YouTube. You don't have to pacify anybody. Like, you don't like what somebody says, make a response video. Or just make a video, period. Because a lot of these people, they're quick to call you a hater. They're quick to accuse you of being scum of the earth, but they really have no actual rebuttal for you, and they won't make any videos. So, I do agree with Blood Boxing. It's his opinion that David Lemieux is a weight bully. It's my opinion that he's not. But I can still respect what Blood Boxing's saying, and I can respectfully disagree with him. I don't have to go on his channel and attack him and tell him what he should be talking about. I ain't his mama. I ain't his daddy. And I'm pretty sure none of y'all are either. When I say none of y'all, I don't talk. My subscribers are perfect. They don't do shit like that. My subscribers, y'all keep doing what y'all are doing. But like these other dumbasses who just feel the need to check channels to the point where it's like they're trying to tell them what they need to be talking about. I've said this in the past and I'll say it again. This is YouTube. So when I hear the word YouTube, you means me. So I will give my opinions. I will give how I feel about things at a particular point in time. And if you disagree with it, that's perfectly fine. Make a video. I mean, I don't really claim to be better than anybody just because I make videos, but the point is I do it. And, you know, I know that there's some controversy that surrounds Blood Boxing, but I can only go off of my own experiences. I don't have a problem with Blood Boxing. You know, I've heard things here and there, but I have to go off of my own experiences. And from what I know, and from how I've interacted with Blood Boxing, he's always been respectful to me. He's always, you know, when he comments, it's always something that I enjoy. He doesn't do it often, but when he does, I enjoy it. So, you know, I have respect for Blood Boxing. But some of these people on YouTube, they need to learn to separate their feelings from when it comes to other people's opinions. People are going to feel the way that they're going to feel, and if you don't like it, if it's really that serious, then unsubscribe from that individual and make your own videos. But yeah, as far as David Lemieux is concerned, because I've been meaning to talk about this fight. Congratulations to David Lemieux, by the way. From what I can see, it looks like he's gotten better. And there's people talking about that he should fight Canelo. That would be great. I mean, Canelo isn't fighting at middleweight. I mean, he says he's too small for middleweight, but yet he has no problem going up to 165 or some shit to fight Chavez Jr. So, I mean, apparently he's a junior middleweight, he's a super middleweight, but he's not in between. No fucking way. He's just not. There's no way he can make 160 pounds. 165 or 164, I think it is, and 155 somehow. Miraculously, he's, I don't know, his mother must be the Virgin Mary or some shit. But that would be a good fight. I think that would be interesting. I don't think he has the boxing ability to defeat Canelo in a boxing match, but he sure as hell has a puncher's chance to knock him out. And that would be great. I would love to see that. But a rematch with Triple G, that would also be really good. So, I mean, I realize there's people who are just not going to give him credit. You know, if you were to beat Lemieux a second time, people are just not, the people who aren't giving him credit right now are still just not going to give him credit. So, whatever. I'm not really worried about what other people are willing to give credit for or not. I mean, if they want to be a pathetic, nitpicky bitch, that's none of my concern. I'll give him credit, though. I mean, he, you know, beating a better version of Lemieux, I think he would still beat him, but it would be interesting to watch. So I think Lemieux is opening up, you know, some avenues. As far as Curtis Stevens, I mean, at 160 pounds, I don't think he's anything special. I think Lemieux definitely separated himself and drew a line in the sand and said, hey, that's where you belong. And he's pretty much kind of like, I guess you could say like Josecito Lopez. I've heard different people say that he's kind of like, or Soto Carras, that they're guys like that. They're kind of like the litmus test at 147 pounds. I could kind of see that kind of status for Curtis Stevens. You know, maybe he could try a different trainer, see if he does better. Maybe he can kind of bump himself a little bit more to a better status at 160 pounds. But I mean, you got to give it to him. He's fighting bigger men. And that's the way that I see it. But yeah, so, you know, when you're commenting on somebody else's videos and you have a disagreement with them, I mean, there's no problem with you leaving a comment and having a proper discourse, but stop trying to tell grown men what to do. Stop trying to tell grown men what to talk about. Anyways, to all my subscribers, anybody watching my videos, or if you just so happen to stump on this video, I hope y'all have a wonderful and blessed day. Peace.
I am so authentic. I'm so authentic. They try to figure me out, but this is not a gimmick. Hi, hip hop. Don't act like you don't know me. What? We got the same mama. Don't you try to disown me. I'm just a mixed breed. Call me a day walker. Cause I walk in the sun, but at night I'm a stalker. If you looking for blood, come run in my lane. The vein never runs dry. There's plenty of it, man. I speak an ancient language. They don't understand me. It's called the truth. I break it down. They try to reprimand me. Miss Lauren, she spoke it. They tried to revoke her. They drove her crazy like Morgan Freeman did to Miss Daisy. I am not